You know, I think of pheasant hunting, you know, one of the first things that comes in my mind is South Dakota. Not just South Dakota, but all these small communities where you drive through these small towns and every business has a sign that says, "Welcome pheasant hunters." And so this is a big thing for the economy down here, and it's a big thing for hunters. There's so many places to hunt down here. You can't go wrong in a lot of different communities, but we're near Kimball, South Dakota, which is kind of in the central part of the state. And when you look at the habitat, you look at the terrain, all you see is pheasants and all you see is places where pheasants want to live.
We're headed! Nice shot! Dogs on it, nice shot.
They're gonna put me way up there so they get to shoot everything down here. And then the one straggler I get to shoot at when we go up there, so we're all good.
Year's been great. We had some moisture, but I'm not complaining. We've already had a couple inches of snow, had some moisture. Things are looking good. Birds are definitely up. We're getting after it.
It's going to be a big adventure. We got a couple new hunters with us from California and looking forward to seeing how those guys do. But it's a beautiful day. The wind laid down a little bit. There's no clouds, as you can see, so it's a tremendous day. So we're just very excited for what the day's going to bring. This is our first field, so we'll see what happens.
Here we go. Jason, I'll just have you follow that around. Way to be quick. Nice and easy, guys. Just real slow. First trigger you pulled this year?
First of the year, yep.
That's a good way to do it, ain't it?
A nice start. They always surprise you, but it's always good to shoot your first bird of the year that you aim at. No doubt about that.
How do I?
We got a runner here.
Rooster, hit him behind! Everybody!
It's really a blessing to be able to come up here and see how this land is managed, and that between the corn, the sunflowers, the milo, and that which the milo is really planted just for the pheasant population. You don't see this in California, and for us it's just a real treat to come up here and hunt wings of thunder up here in Kimball, South Dakota.
I suppose the most important aspect with the farming and everything else is just the nesting. Keeping the nesting grass here, keeping food around year-round, and the water source. We have plenty of water for the birds all summer. We don't get a lot of rain, so that I feel that's important. So the birds don't have to go over 3-4 miles to get water. Get ready, guys. Right in front here. Rooster Jason! Hit him again, boys! Gary, nice shot! Hold the line! Jason!
Just some thick, heavy cover. Hardly see over the top of it. And it's mid-October. Years past, we've come down here, it's always late in the year, and so this is a little bit earlier. In October, pheasant season in South Dakota, it's like a national holiday.
Nice and slow. We got him running right ahead of us, boys. Hey, 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 hey. Hit him, woo!
Hendard, Hendard! Rooster!
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 Good shooting, boys.
You know, I grew up doing a lot of pheasant hunting in North Dakota as a kid, and you know, we've seen, you know, decades where we didn't have a lot of pheasant numbers, but we still hunted and we still saw some birds and harvested some birds. And then we also had some phenomenal years, you know, where we had the CRP take off in the Dakotas and we had a lot more habitat. We had some mild winters, and it just seemed like some years there were pheasants everywhere. And so I've always loved hunting pheasants. I grew up doing it as a kid, and it's just something that, you know, it's a passion that's followed me my whole life. You know, obviously you can come out here and hunt public land, you can come out here and hunt the road ditches, you can come out here by yourself with a dog and hunt, you can come out here with small groups, or you can come out here with, you know, big groups, you know, 4 or 5, 6 of really good friends, and sometimes it's an opportunity to meet new friends. You know, there's just so much habitat out here and just so many birds that I often feel when I come out to South Dakota and hunt some of these places, it's like traveling back in time.
You know, and every so often you get, you know, a lot of hunters out here. And so it's just like a baseball team or a football team, you bring in the reserve. So we got to bring in Ryder here. He's on his 3rd gun. He's shot so many times today that he's got to get a different gun. And by the way, this is Ryder Brosey, who comes from Walnut Creek, California area, California Deer Association. He and his son got this trip to a banquet we had in March 2018.
I'm just hoping the birds get up. Looks like a nice morning, not too much wind, so shouldn't be too cold. So yeah, I'm just hoping, you know, this is a good field and that, you know, we can get a lot of birds out of it.
You know, one of the neatest things about any kind of hunting is just how it can span generations. You know, out here, you know, we've got people that are hunting with us today that are grandparents, and we've got youth that are, you know, less than 20 years old, or, you know, young men. And so, you know, it's something that a 15-year-old can do with a 50-year-old and with a 70-year-old. And so it doesn't matter how young or how old, it's something you can do your whole life. And it's just neat to watch these different age groups hunt, and obviously it's always exciting to see the next generation. There's a rooster. All right, nice shot. I've always loved pheasant hunting, just the excitement of it, the surprise. You know, no matter how many pheasants get up in front of you, the flush is just exhilarating.
Head, head, head.
We're headed! Dog's on it. Nice shot.
The hunting really started when I met Mac. I had done some things before I met him, but I met him on the trap team, and he started, you know, giving us hunts that we could do. You know, before that we had done some, you know, planted pheasant hunts just for fun, but the hunting really got serious once I met McGregor and the Douglas family.
I knew he enjoyed hunting with his dad, and I love hunting with my dad, and that kind of struck up a friendship. And through wrestling, I was helping out as the team captain, and he was a freshman, and we kind of helping him out with learning moves, and then shooting, kind of the same thing. I'm experienced with that sport, and he was new, and he was a quick learner, and he's a heck of a shot. As my senior year drew to a close, he was probably one of my best friends, even though he was a freshman.
You know, what's so neat with hunting is everybody wants the younger kid or the youth to get the shot. We try to put him in the best spot. It's just a great feeling letting him get that shot, and it just makes you feel good inside. Rooster!
Got it.
But it's always great to see, you know, whenever you're in a hunting group, seeing, you know, the next generation, these younger kids getting into it.
Rooster! Nice and slow. We got him running right ahead of us, boys.
Yeah, well, we've done a fair bit of hunting in California, but we had the opportunity through the California Deer Association to come out here to South Dakota to shoot wild pheasants, and we're super excited to be able to do it. It's been a good time with Aiden, my son, and our good friends, so we're just real lucky to be out here.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the biggest things. Again, California does not promote youth hunting, and to see the young men that are out here this weekend is just a real, again, a blessing to see it, because that's what's going to keep our tradition going with hunting, is getting the youth involved.
It's critically important for the next generation, especially where we live in California. It's really important to be introducing the next generation to shooting sports and hunting in particular. So I was brought up by a dad who had me hunting, and my grandfather had him hunting. So I guess we're just following the tradition of the family.
You know, I have seen a little increase in the youth hunters. Of course, I'd like to see it stronger. I do feel some of the video games keep them indoors. But with the youth shooting that's getting bigger and bigger in schools now, we have a trap club in our school that's keeping the kids active into shooting. I think it's just a great thing to get them into the outdoors. Hunt them up, Molly, hunt them up. Real slow, guys. Shots high, blocker straight ahead now. Hen. No, no, take it behind.
Go on, get him.
Good eyes, Dad. Here.
Thank you.
You know, like I mentioned before, when I was a kid, we hunted a lot with my great uncle and my dad. And boy, those memories I just hold on to forever. Of course, they're both gone now. They've been gone a long time. You know, you really build a legacy with your son and hunting and the enjoyment that he can bring to his family one day when he gets married and has a family. So it's just memories that I'll never forget of all the times we went hunting together. And I know this trip for sure, with the amount of birds they've shot and the amount of action they've saw, it's just been a trip of a lifetime for them. And I'm sure they've seen things that they've never seen before in their whole life. So it's really a special time for father and son, certainly today. And they'll be talking about this trip for the next couple of years, I guarantee it.
Good shooting, buddy.
Head!
The taller headed stuff, guys, is cane. We don't plant a bunch of it because it's hard to see over to shoot, but if we get a bunch of snow, it'll bend over and we can still hunt it.
Good
Nice
shot. Good shot. There we go.
Nice rock.
Here we go.
Fetch, fetch, fetch. Here. Good girl. Good girl. Here we go. Rooster.
Sure.
Boy, I tell you what, if you you can see this cover here. If you didn't have dogs, you'd be looking for birds more than you'd be hunting. Without dogs, boy, it's tough. If say a guy, I walk 5 miles a day, I'll guarantee you they put on 25 to 30 a day. You know, they're just all over the place. I use mainly flushers just because this cover pretty thick, and sometimes you can't even see a dog, let alone, you know, see him pointing.
You know, one of the biggest joys of pheasant hunting in my mind is just watching the dogs. And we've got so many good dogs down here. I mean, they were just cycling through them. Luckily, the weather's cool enough where we're not burning them up right away. It sure does add a lot. Just let the dogs do their work and just watch them and follow behind.
Good boy, Drake. Good boy, here, leave it.
You know, the thing about it, you come to a place like this and just the repetition these dogs get experience where they get in front of a lot of birds each year, and so they really are fun to watch. These are some good dogs hunting down here.
All right, guys, here we go, real slow.
Hen.
I love watching how the dogs work. It's really interesting because I've never had a hunting dog. And first time I came out on any type of pheasant hunt with a dog, it was so interesting. It was with pointers, and it was weird seeing dogs point at something and then, you know, a bird came up. So Hunting with dogs is super fun, yeah. It's way cooler than, dumb luck running into a pheasant.
Rooster left.
Hen!
Rooster!
It was really, it was a nice left to right and come across, but they seem to always go a little faster than you think in this wind, and
Well, it's the second day. Wind's laid down, just been beautiful. It's been so cold and wet here prior to when we arrived. I was worried about the weather the last couple of weeks, but boy, talk about a beautiful morning here on the prairie in South Dakota. Just a perfect morning for pheasant hunting.
We got some corn and we got some sunflowers. We're gonna send a walker blocker up on each side at 125 yards to keep the birds in. And we're gonna zigzag this as much as we can. It's a half-mile push. We're gonna see if we can get ourselves some roosters.
Rooster.
It made this 2018 season somewhat unique and different from a lot of the years that I can remember in the past. Is that our early October felt like November. We've had cold, we've had wind, we've had snow, we've had rain. As a result, you drive across this landscape, there's a lot of corn that's still standing, there's a lot of soybeans that are still standing, and so there's a lot of crop that's still up. And that makes hunting harder. It spreads the birds out. A lot of the birds are in the standing crop. But once this crop gets combined, these pheasants are going to get a lot easier, going to get a lot more concentrated nonetheless.
Hen.
Rooster!
Good girl, Reb. Here, Rebel.
I really enjoy the two boys that we're hunting with over the past couple days, Mac and Aiden, and it's really fun to see these younger generation kids grab on to hunting, and not only hunting with their father, but certainly the legacy of hunting that is so important to live on after we're long gone, because this is such a tremendous treasure out here, this place, the pheasants. It's just fantastic, and hopefully this legacy will be passed on from generation to generation, simply because these young men are out here and having the time of their lives, shooting more pheasants than they've ever seen in their lives, but certainly just the legacy of it all is so exciting for me.
Wow, pheasant hunting in South Dakota is really extraordinary. So glad to have had the opportunity to come out here and do this, spend time with my son Aiden and our good friends. It's just been a really special time shooting these roosters. So being out here in South Dakota, the country is so big, and just the nice rolling terrain is really a pleasant walking experience, and it's fun to see these birds flush up. Where we are in California, we're in much more confined spaces, and so it's really fun to see these birds flush up out of these big wide open fields of corn and sorghum.
Nice shot, Aiden.
Walker blocker!
It's unlike any place I've ever been, because I had had the pleasure of being up here last year, and to come back is just a real blessing. And the reason is I mean, look at the weather. The hunting is phenomenal. The Wings of Thunder staff are just over the top.
Hit him!
You know, I've been bringing a handful of friends out to Wings of Thunder Lodge here near Kimball, South Dakota for the last 4 or 5 years, and just really gotten to know Brad. Done a lot of things with him over the years. You know, great dog trainer. They run great dogs. I mean, they've always got a fresh dog to let out of the kennel. They do a phenomenal job with the dog side of it, but then the lodging's great. The food exceeds their expectations, and so if you want to just have a turnkey operation where you just come out here, bring your friends. In a lot of cases, you're going to see more pheasants than you've ever seen in your life. You know, this is just one of those places that's really special.